The lightsaber of Anakin Skywalker, which had been given to Luke by Obi-Wan Kenobi after he took it from the fallen Jedi after their battle on Mustafar, had been lost. Luke and Vader's duel on Cloud City ended with Vader cutting off Luke's hand, which was grasping the lightsaber, causing it to fall into the abyss. Luke of course escaped after learning the truth that Vader was his father, Anakin Skywalker. However, he was now without a weapon. So where and how exactly did he come to possess the new green lightsaber, which would replace the blue blade of his father's? Today's history will be coming from Star Wars Legends as opposed to canon, as kyber crystals are seen a bit differently across the two. We do have a video where we talked all about Vader bleeding his crystal, which does come from the canon Vader comics if you'd like to check that one out as well, but for this one we'll be pulling from the Legends continuity. After his first duel with Vader, Luke would return to Tatooine and go to the home of his mentor Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Junlan Wastes. It was there that Luke would find a book that Obi-Wan left behind for the young Skywalker, and in that book, conveniently, were details and schematics on how to construct a lightsaber. After looking over and studying the schematics, Luke was able to find a majority of the parts he needed from various vendors scattered about Mos Eisley. Unfortunately, the most critical piece of the puzzle was the weapon's kyber crystal. After the fall of the Jedi and rise of the Galactic Empire, Darth Sidious destroyed or looted most of the sites where one might find a natural crystal in its natural environment. Not only that, but lightsabers would be banned for anyone except those such as Sidious himself, Vader of course, the Shadow Guards, or the Emperor's Hand, making finding a kyber crystal next to impossible. Because of this, Luke would have to rely on creating a synthetic crystal. Synthetic crystals were created through the use of a machine known as a geological compressor. Essentially, raw minerals would be placed inside of the compressor, which would replicate the geological process and be left to bake for a considerable amount of time, during which time the person forging the crystal would meditate on it, guiding its formation to create a crystal tuned to them which would best suit their needs. The differences concerning kyber crystals varies between Legends and canon, as we already mentioned, and bleeding a crystal is a relatively new concept, whereas the red Sith crystals we saw before would primarily be synthetic crystals used via this process, not due to pouring one's rage and emotions and anger into the crystal, bleeding it and creating the beautiful crimson, in the words of Sidious. The process of creating their own synthetic crystals with this method is what would typically lead to the red synthetic crystals of most Sith. Luke would manage to create his crystal using a small furnace that he found at Obi-Wan's as well. However, even though he had all of the necessary pieces, constructing it and getting it to function properly would be a massive undertaking in itself. It would take Luke over a month, numerous failed attempts, and lots of discouragement. He would finally remember the words of his wise old teacher Yoda, "Do or do not." Luke closed the book that Obi-Wan left him, reached out with the Force to connect with the weapon, and relied on his intuition to complete its construction. Finally, it was time. Luke ignited the piece and watched as the new green blade extended from the hilt. At first glance, it seemed to be working properly. It even cut through a rock spire with no difficulty at all. It had tremendous balance, superior perhaps even to that of his father's. Luke had done it, thanks to Obi-Wan's instructions, the teaching of Master Yoda, his intuition, and of course the Force. Luke had constructed his own beautiful green lightsaber, a lightsaber that even Darth Vader would admire upon seeing it himself for the first time. So, there you have it. If you ever wondered where Luke got his new green blade from after losing his father's, I hope we didn't disappoint. As always, thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.